It's a solemn way to honor the late Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark Hortman. The procession seen here Tuesday afternoon along I-394 transferred their remains to a Minneapolis funeral home. Thanks for joining us. While many Minnesotans are honoring the Hortmans, police are looking for a person who broke into their boarded-up home. Police say an unknown person entered through the back sometime early Wednesday morning. Family members told police they don't believe anything is missing. Neighbors we spoke with say the Hortmans were great neighbors and called the break-in beyond disrespectful.
There were 20 of us from the neighborhood yesterday that cleaned up the yard and cut the grass and trimmed flowers and pulled weeds and got the property looking decent again for her family. And these jack wagons had to go break into the house last night.
Brooklyn Park police are urging neighbors to check cameras for anything suspicious. With the Hortman's alleged shooter behind bars, the investigation into his actions continue. Vance Boelter faces charges in state and federal court. Kevin Miller joins us now with more on his upcoming legal hearings. Kevin?
Delaying at the federal level, Boelter faces stalking and murder charges, but not terrorism. I asked a local attorney to explain what's needed to bring terrorism charges in a case like this one.
Whether or not there's political involvement here in a decision being made, are they acting under some sort of political belief? So that's what raises it to the level of a terrorist attack if you're using it for political attack.
Boelter faces second-degree murder and attempted murder charges in the state courts. Authorities moved quickly to file those charges and keep Boelter in custody. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office is planning to ask a grand jury to bring first-degree murder charges in the future. Golden Valley attorney Mike Bryant says the federal government could take complete control over the case or let the state case play out first. Boelter could also face capital punishment at the federal level.
When you have federal involved, you have questions on whether or not you're actually going to have the death penalty involved. And if you have the death penalty involved, that's something they can do federally that you can't do in the state. So it depends on what charges go forward, and also depends on if they're going to cooperate at all.
Boelter is currently in federal custody. He'll be back in court on June 27th. Delane?
Meanwhile, Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette remain hospitalized with multiple gunshot wounds following the targeted attack Saturday. I stopped by Fernbrook Elementary School in Maple Grove, where Yvette Hoffman worked, and colleagues are honoring her.
She's just a really good human.
For the past 2 years,
she's kind of like everybody's favorite neighborhood mom, auntie, grandma, all rolled into one person.
Yvette Hoffman has worked alongside Fernbrook Elementary's kindergarten students as an educational support professional. Jeff Zastro is the man who hired her.
She listens to every story about every loose tooth, every pet, every vacation, every birthday party, and while doing that helps kids improve in reading, math, writing, and just being good humans.
Fernbrook teaches students to be the nice kid, and Yvette leads the charge.
When I come to the school and I volunteer in my son's kindergarten class and I see her interact with these kiddos, it makes your heart melt.
Angela Champagne-Fromm is president of the Fernbrook PTO, and when she heard the news on Saturday that Yvette and her husband John had been shot, she sprang into action.
The PTO board started texting. We dropped everything we had going on a Saturday. We got together and we came up with a plan on what we could do to help.
The group collaborated with Zastro and launched a GoFundMe page to help with the Hoffmans' recovery. The initial goal was set at $5,000, but in the days since it launched, donations have ballooned to more than $180,000.
Folks that just want to shine a positive light on the Hoffmans, which has just helped things blow up in a very positive fashion.
It's just a beautiful thing to look at how people can come together and lift up people in need when they're at their most vulnerable.
Fernbrook Principal Jeff Zastro says he's been in contact with Yvette and she's feeling better every day. Her focus is now on John's recovery. The Brooklyn Park and Champlain communities are coming together to host a community healing event following the lawmaker attacks. It will be held this Friday starting at 5:30 p.m. at Champlain Park High School. The event will also provide resources to help people cope with the attacks. Meanwhile, the Robbinsdale Area School Board approved difficult budget cuts this week. The board needed to cut $16 million from its budget. You'll recall the cuts were necessary when an accounting error was discovered last year that put the district in a $21 million hole. The cuts rely largely on staff reductions. Savings also came from busing changes. Some board members remain troubled by the budget, but the majority stated that the painful cuts will help the district recover long term.
This budget for me does not prioritize the needs of students, nor does it prioritize staff voice and recommendations. Perhaps even more concerning to me is this budget lacks the necessary transparency needed for directors to make informed decisions.
For as painful that it was about time in this district that we had leadership that stood up and created a budget based in the real world that was going to be sustainable over time. We are going to be in a world of hurts not only this year, but next year and probably the following year.
The final vote was 4-2, with board member Helen Bassett abstaining. The city of Plymouth is celebrating the opening of its first ever cricket pitch. It's located at the new Meadows Playfield. It includes pickleball courts, a sledding hill, and a Strider bike course for toddlers. But the cricket pitch sets it apart. Mayor Jeff Washy said he first got the request when he was campaigning in 2018.
When I was door knocking, one of the first homes, there was somebody that had immigrated from Pakistan, and he asked me, how come Plymouth doesn't have a cricket pitch? So we've been working on that ever since, and I'm proud that we're finally here today opening one up.
A lot of times we were playing on soccer fields or baseball diamonds, right, that were great and did well, but weren't designed for the sport to be played in its true form. And so having this in our community here in Plymouth, where a majority of our players live and come from, go to school, where their families live, is just amazing.
The new $6 million playfield is located off of Chaska Trail and Peony Lane.
Armstrong Cooper boys hockey has a new head coach leading the program. Chaz Moot stopped by the new Hope Ice Arena and has the story on the new bench boss for the Wings.
Casey Michaela has always loved the game of hockey.
For me, it's like high-speed chess. I find great joy in taking some high-level concepts and trying to simplify them and teach them at the high school level.
A 2009 Cooper grad, Michaela is set to become the head coach for Armstrong Cooper boys hockey after being an assistant coach for 16 years at 5 different schools.
Walking in this rink, it brings back a ton of memories. My thing is about high speed and creativity offensively, and then defensively, it's just about structure and knowing how to recover for your teammate when your teammate's doing something. Where am I supposed to be? And where are we trying to create turnovers so we can get in transition?
Michaela is taking over for Danny Charleston, who was the head coach of the Wings for 11 seasons. Charleston, like Michaela, is returning to his alma mater as an assistant coach at Benilde St. Margaret's, which, ironically, is where Michaela spent his last 7 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, Casey and Danny can wave to each other as they're going past each other.
Ken Pauley, the head coach for the Red Knights for the past 38 years, saw a lot of promise in Michael.
You know, he understands that this isn't just don't come and coach for your hour and a half a day and then you go home and then come back. For us, there's a good combination of a guy with great knowledge, and he's coachable himself, but great knowledge, passion, and just willing to work his butt off.
Michaela is just 8 days into summer STP workouts, but he likes what he sees, is excited to implement his ideas, and feels like a foundation has been set.
I'll give some credit to Coach Charleston that was here before me and his staff. I think I'm getting to take what they have built and I'm getting to add on. I'm not having to put framework in. They have done that. I think we're going to surprise some people outwardly, but there's not going to be much surprise from the families and the kids that are in this rink.
In New Hope, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
We're just over a week into the start of games in the American Legion baseball season. 2 local teams met on the Diamond in Maple Grove Tuesday night.
Maple Grove Legion post 172 hosting Armstrong in a North Hennepin League game. Top of the second in a scoreless game, Armstrong Aiden Ranke crushes a ball to deep left field. Donnie Johnson and Everett Daly score, and it's 2-0 Armstrong on Ranke's one-out double. They'd add another run on a bases-loaded walk to go up 3-0. Bottom of the third, Maple Grove gets on the board. Damian Siebert drives a ball to right center field for a base hit. Grady Hubbard scores from second base. It's a 3-1 game after 3. MG looking for more in the fifth with a couple of runners on when Hubbard hits one down the line and right, but a nice running catch by Armstrong's Jackson Wiley ends the threat in the inning, and it's still 3-1. Sixth inning, Luke Wiesjohn drills one to right field and down into the corner for an extra base hit. Drew Goddard comes in to score, and Wiesjohn's double, and it's 4-1. They'd add a couple more runs on this gapper to right center field hit by Jack Schultz, scoring Noah Miller and Wiesjohn. Armstrong goes on to post a 7-1 win over Maple Grove.
And some of this area's top baseball players from the class of 2025 will be in action this weekend at the annual PlayBall Minnesota All-Star Series. The Metro North squad for the 6-team event has 5 local players: Luke Carlson of Champlin Park, Dawson Franke of Armstrong, Tyler Hand and Tommy Heifert from Totino Grace, and Connor Johnson of Maple Grove. The Metro West team includes Noah Filer of Wayzata, Gabe Nathie of Providence, and Carl Sheeby of Hopkins. There are 4 games in all Friday, with Metro West playing the North at 2:45 and the Metro North facing North in the evening. Saturday brings 5 more games, including Metro West meeting Metro North in the morning, capped by the championship game Saturday night. All those games at Chaska Athletic Park.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.